Okay, it's on.
Who has an explanation for Jamie?
We managed to not die. After Cheval's ultimatum, we made our way back into Eppley, to try and deal with the goddess. Vias went to send Mercy to scout and found the king and the queen in having a moment. Translation, the queen possibly got the shit kicked out of her a little bit and was being healed. Mercy got spotted, got very clearly vibed out to get the fuck out.
She yeeted herself out the window.
Got 5 dead.
Then, we made our way up, preparing to, have to fucking fight. There was some drama, it was fine. Then we managed to get into the room and, King and Queen greet us, tell us that we're welcome to stay. And then we decide to wreck the entire thing. We get a silence thrown on us before Dona can say, look around you, it's an illusion. Mercy, however, is not caught in that silence.
Yep, and Vias had thrown his voice through her since they're Pact of the Chain familiar.
Yeah.
To basically break his illusion.
Yeah. The king makes clear that he knew about it and that it's over now. The goddess disappeared. The king is stripped of his powers because his god is now dead? Question mark?
You don't fucking know.
Not enough believers no more, maybe.
And
not a problem anymore.
I don't entirely remember exactly how the conversation went, except that we did end up asking about what happened to Cheval, and he gave us access to records about what had been done to her.
Mm-hmm.
And we also got a set of 9 rings that allow communication between us. We yeeted past like 90% of the lore pocket setup, but that's fine. We yeeted past a solid 2/3 of the story and about 90% of the lore. This is fine.
Ha. Who needs lore when you have anxious messes?
And then we were starting to make our way out, and Cheval approached us again. Basically went, you brought him. There was the whole, yeah, if you want to kill him, you have every right to. This is our end of the bargain, and we want to try and help you. And y'all let Diona talk.
Yep.
Which ended in doing surgery on a dragon to remove the note tablet.
Yes, which had been what was keeping Cheval as basically Eppley's prisoner, like to keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was what was making it so she couldn't attack the city, and I think it was also forcing her to stay within a certain distance of the city. That seems to be the vibe I've gotten, is she couldn't attack the city because of it, but she had to stay within a short range of the city. Or at least a short range for a dragon. We actually managed to get the tablet out. Patch her up with some healing magic. Freak the hell out of Kyo and Linsa, who are only 2 survivors of the other party.
Yep. We decided to
which I'm
take
sure makes for
I
an
think it was
awkward 2 days while we head back to Casper.
Kyo. Wasn't it Kyo's
Yeah, it
twin
was
ended
Kyo's
up?
twin.
Yeah. We decided to take their body with
We
us.
left the bodies of Bixby and
The
Noradin.
dwarfish. Yeah.
Yeah, we're done.
but took Young's so that we could give them a burial.
Mhm. It's only fair.
We managed, and then before Cheval is about to fly off, Diona asks if she knows anything about what happened to Max. She laughs, flies off, and we kind of go, okay, that fucking happened. Maybe Max is alive. A little bit of time passes while we're sort of discussing where we're going from here. And then Cheval swoops back over, carrying something which she sort of flyby drops carefully and reveals it's Max, currently the fuck asleep. She swoops past Eppley, dive bombs, I think, the palace, you said?
Mm-hmm.
And then proceeds to go do whatever the fuck it is, suddenly free dragons who have been who have a bit of a grudge against a dead society do. Honestly, we don't know. She might show up later. We don't know.
Good for her.
And that's what I missed on Glee.
We will have made it to Kesburg safely, but there's some RP that needs to happen beforehand. So, yeah, we did surgery on a dragon because y'all let Diona talk.
Yep, which is fine, 'cause she did great.
And everybody lived. It's kind of amazing.
Right?
We do currently have the king with us because we're taking him to Kasberg so that he can possibly face trial. I guess it depends on how the people of Kasberg react. And yeah, Max was exhausted but unharmed, so he's also probably going to wake up on the way back to Kasberg. Did I miss anything?
That seems about it.
Yeah, I think that's about good. Also those rings were apparently like lord and ladies of the old civilization, so yeah.
Yeah, each ring had associations to one of the noble families, but we did not find out any of the lore about that because I think the only source for lore about that was Cheval.
Whoopsie. Oh well, Cheval can do what Cheval wants to do. They deserve it.
Cheval is free now. She can do whatever the fuck she likes, and she didn't try to kill us. So hey.
And so the rings are
also,
like rings
we
of
all level 7 now.
Nice.
Yeah. Their message, right? Parker?
Yeah, message.
Yeah, they are a message with 500-foot range to anyone within them. To anyone who has one of the rings.
Yeah, they're a
we
closed
basically
circuit.
got given. We basically got given earrings of Whisper.
But yeah.
Which is very.
Which I'm very fine with.
We have a way to talk to each other now.
Yeah, we do.
Which is something I don't. Oh yeah, that's something that we need to get for our other party, Jamie. Way to talk to each other over long distances.
Yeah, we need to get sending stones or something.
Yeah.
Also, can I just mention that it's kind of obnoxious that sending stones can only do one message a day?
Right.
But
like, what if we want to bother you? What if you want to bother someone multiple times?
Open a party line?
Hell, just have a conversation with somebody for more than 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my is sometimes you actually need more exchange of information than fucking 50 words between the two of you.
Yeah.
That's like what, 2 tweets?
Basically.
Less.
Yeah.
Tweets are 120, 160 now.
Oh, maybe that I was.
160 characters, so you probably won't fit 25 words into a tweet.
That's fair.
I would have introduced some sort of messaging system like we have for our other party, which is sending paper, which is basically you get to cast the sending spell, but with paper. So you have to have ink, but it works.
I'm giving you
Oh.
this shit.
It's so good.
Sure.
Yes, and we are very appreciative.
Yeah.
We
Bless.
kind of distributed the rings based on aesthetic. That is in the thing chat. That's in the
Chat response, I think.
yeah.
And pepperoni
Um,
channel or the pepperoni channel chat thing.
Yeah. So,
Which I
because we figured that of the options, Frog was probably a better option for Zoella than Monkey. And
Yeah,
also, you weren't
probably.
here, so.
Yeah, but Bird would have been better. Oh well.
I know. I was trying to get it for you, babe, but Josh was like, "No."
But
He has nothing
Dylan
to
wanted
do
it.
with
Yeah.
Bird, so
Yeah, Dylan wanted bird,
Marcus.
and he works for
Yep.
Bird God, so kind of Bird God.
I am Bird.
I was like, but Zoella is a bird. Oh well. We could probably edit the engraving if we need to at some point, but I don't think it's necessary.
If you think that's a good idea.
Yeah, so I'd be like, bitch.
No, I just mean like if that's a aesthetic you don't enjoy, we could probably find a
Oh, I
wizard that
definitely do
would
not
change
enjoy
it.
it, but it's okay. There's no, it's okay.
Oh,
It's just a ring.
Which raises an important question. Can Zoella actually wear a ring?
She has fingers.
she got little birdie fingers.
Yeah, she got little bird claws.
Oh my god, never refer to them as birdie fingers again.
She's got those creepy little claws.
Yeah. Birdie
Yeah,
fingers.
that's why I asked if she can wear a ring, because,
Yeah.
Anywho,
the rings are attunement. That is the only thing.
I don't
Yeah.
think any of us have anything that needs attunement, so.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, because I don't think I said the half cloaks need attunement.
Nope.
Oh wait, what are the half cloaks?
We got them for Christmas.
Aw,
Yeah.
nice.
They were cloaks of what was it? Oh god, they help with stealth. What was it?
Slightly neutered
They
Elvenkind.
aren't
Yeah.
quite cloaks of Elvenkind. They are, if you would have disadvantage, it is negated. Otherwise, you get, I believe it was a +2 or a +5.
It was
I
a
don't
+5.
Oh, that's not bad. That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
so it's kind of more like Pass Without a Trace.
Mm.
Well, a kind of shittier Pass Without a Trace.
Yeah, it's like always active though, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, it negates disadvantage if you have it.
I feel like Susanna was trying to pawn off her cloak to somebody.
Susanna was trying to pawn off her cloak to somebody. I don't think she's done it yet, but PK has been talking about giving it to Diana.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yep.
On your way back to Kesburg, jungle travel is a lot easier than going in. Perhaps that's
It's almost like it isn't actively trying to kill us or something.
almost like there's not a dragon in it anymore.
Dragon?
And what had once been a 2-day journey to the statue is now 1 day, and you are now face to face with the statue of the goddess of Ethel. just as night starts to fall. Max has still not woken up, and despite the king's age and frailty, he is keeping up pretty well. He has asked you occasionally to take a moment to stop and breathe, but even with that, you still manage to get to the statue easier.
Mm.
Do you choose to sleep here, or
I mean, maybe without being within the range of the statue. Vias
Yeah,
isn't
'cause
very.
out of character, it took us a day to get to the statue in the first place before, right? From Casper.
From Casper.
Yeah,
it took you 2 days from there to get to the city?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so probably just sleeping here would be for the that.
Yeah. We'll sleep by the statue,
let's
but
go
probably
a little bit beyond the corpse grove because I figure it's still probably.
Yeah. I mean, that was something Vias wasn't keen on being
Check.
near it for a while. A what check?
I mean, Diana will have a look to see if but there were a lot of bodies there.
I mean, the bodies are still there, but you could do some vibe checks to see if there's anyone still there, like,
yeah, but the
undead
bodies
wise.
were the bodies were part of the problem because it's fucking creepy.
Could Vias check?
Sure.
What am I rolling?
You could do an Arcana check with your Charisma mod.
Oh boy, how do I? Okay, well I have proficiency.
Well,
in
you
that.
have Arcana proficiency.
Yeah.
So,
1d20
roll
plus charisma, right?
Yeah, plus charisma, so it might be a plus
that's
7.
6. No, it'd be 6 because proficiency bonus is 3 right now, right?
Yes.
And then his charisma bonus is plus 3. He has no other.
Yeah, so plus 6.
Yeah.
Sorry, I for some reason thought you had slightly
25.
higher charisma than that.
The unsettling feeling that you had last time around, when it was, infested with fucking ghosts, is gone. It seems a lot more peaceful now. Perhaps once the goddess was gone and the enchantment was released, all the dead spirits who were trapped there because of their desire for the city went, "Ah, fuck this," and got out.
Good.
I mean, it is also still a Mankey murder grove. So
It is, but I would like to, but just to establish that there is no, like, undead threat.
yes, that's
good.
fine, but it's also a grove full of corpses.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna move on a little bit further, so we don't have to sleep in the corpse grove.
Yeah, we'll be a healthy 100 feet away or so, but it's good to know that it's not actually a undead presence in this area.
It's not covered in bodies. There's just some scattered here and there. I don't know where gave you the fucking idea that you're like knee deep in corpses.
No, it's just the fact that decaying corpses do have bacterial nastiness. We don't want to be near that, or we'll get fucking sick. Crazy.
Does Vias know that bacteria exists?
Vias knows sickness. He's been around healers long enough.
But does he understand the concept of biological germs and decay?
We're in the
you actually also do have to remember that his family are Raven Queen dedicates, so they probably have standards on handling the dead.
Maybe Vias doesn't know exactly what it is that makes people sick, but he knows that dead bodies being close to healthy people is not a good idea.
Fine, I'll give you that. Go fuck yourself.
It's kind of common knowledge. You don't want to be around a nasty, decaying body.
I wanted to establish if Vias knew what biology was, and I felt like that was a valid thing to ask.
It is very fine. Vias is not stupid. He has average intelligence.
He is?
Yeah, he's got a plus 0, but he's intelligence of 10, so his wisdom is a 14, though.
Why does he make so many bad choices then?
His are better than Dylan's.
Oh yeah, no, there's no doubting that. Dylan, I don't even count Dylan's choices at this point.
Dylan's is good, but it's just awful.
Yeah.
So you're
Pious
making
is
camp
fine.
100 feet out.
Yep, let's try that.
Also, the other reason to not camp out in the Corpse Grove is even if there's only a couple, that's still gonna, Susanna's still gonna be nauseous and sick, and at least if we're somewhat out of sight, she might actually be able to rest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she'd be adamant in
So-
staying away, I'm sure.
Yeah, she would.
So-
You sound so defeated, Parker.
No, I just. All right. In my IRL group, we have our quote wall, and then next to it we have a list of things that we invented.
Oh god.
This list includes Steve Jobs, penicillin,
Oh my god.
I'll have to check exactly how many things we have invented in either setting, but I guess we invented germ theory just now.
Theory of disease. Vice had an epiphany. God.
We love you.
Oh.
100 feet out.
Yes.
How are you doing this?
Blanket fort. No, I don't know. What do we? We don't have tents yet,
Probably,
do we?
just to be on the safe side, I think Diana might want to go up a tree, but I think that's...
So I'll also try and go up a tree.
Talia is also here for the
but
tree
I think
plan.
we have some camp to make first.
Yeah, I don't think Susanna would go up a tree, so.
No,
she's gonna
Susanna would
be-
not. This is
Yeah,
Susanna we're
I don't
talking
think
about.
she can go up a tree with those dresses and everything. Like,
Yeah.
And her high heels. Her heels are important to the cannot climb a tree, but also she would not.
No.
Yeah, she
improper
would
for a
refuse
lady to
to.
climb a tree. Whatever. Okay, Susanna.
Kyo also
And yes,
takes
PK, we are roasting your character.
Kyo kind of takes one look at this and then like looks up at the tree at like I think Talia is already halfway up. Talia's like fuck this,
Yeah.
and just
Zoella,
like shakes their head.
Fair enough.
Zoella goes to gather some wood and stuff and throws it all in a pile and then uses prestidigitation to light it on fire. Because that's something prestidigitation can do.
What you're saying?
Oh, I said Zoella is gathering a bunch of
Zoella's
Twigs
making a
and-
fire.
yeah, she's making a fire with that.
And she's using prestidigitation to set the.
Wi-Fi being shit, or is it you guys?
I think your Wi-Fi might be shit. I'm sorry. You're kind of cutting out a little bit sometimes.
Give me 1 second.
Oh no.
Yep.
What's up, Joe?
Just kind of. Honestly, I think Diana will pull from rations rather than trying to get
Fresh stuff.
something actually mealish, because I think she's...
We're close
I do
enough
think
to
she's running
town.
low on supplies at this point.
Yeah.
Zoella will she actually kept some of the crab for bait. She's gonna toss some around and
That
with
is
her
day
crossbow.
old crab, and we do not
Yeah,
have
it smells-
refrigeration.
It smells bad, exactly. It'll attract more things.
Oh my
She's
god.
gonna go off a little, toss some on the ground, and with a crossbow, just hold it at, just go and hide, and then with the crossbow, just wait till see if something.
You
comes
probably
across.
want to wait until Parker is back before...
I am back.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Is Zoella attempting to hunt? Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, she's
Yes.
using the crab meat that she kept from like a day ago
As bait.
as bait.
Okay, roll survival.
Nice.
Oh my god.
You actually find a good place to set up this trap, and so you lay the meat out properly and you get it kind of set. Now roll me a stealth check.
Yes, Zoella, come on. Nice.
All right. A bit of time passes before what looks like a larger sort of jungle cat predator starts to kind of come up and sniff around. And you see it like just munch a little.
I'm gonna shoot him.
Get the
Roll an
kitty.
attack. I was halfway through Googling what a jaguar stats are. That does not fucking matter. It's dead.
Oh my god. You just killed that cat, girl.
Yeah.
Jaguar generally uses a modified panther.
Well, I was gonna check what a fucking panther stat was.
But
It's dead now. It doesn't matter.
Eventually, Zola comes back with a giant big cat corpse. Oh my god.
I love it.
Oh.
Skin.
Skin.
That would fetch a nice price, maybe.
Zola just makes bird sounds and hands you a knife.
I'm not the best at skinning things, though.
Kyo sighs and walks up and takes the knife, and she is she's very efficient at doing this.
Oh, bless you.
Hell yeah.
I'm not sure how well that'll cook since I assume you brought it for food.
She nods.
I mean-
Okay, I'm not sure how well this will work, but
I mean,
what
I
the
could
fuck, might as well.
druid craft some, like, herbs or something? Maybe if there's something around here that is...
I think Diana kind of gives Vias a bit of a look and a smile and shakes the pouch on her hip.
Right.
I can figure it out. Thank you for the offer.
Figured I'd do something useful. I'm not the hugest cook, but...
If you want to try and find something, I won't stop you. It's very much appreciated.
You know what? Vice is gonna go look around for some edibles of any sort. Be it mushrooms or
Well, is that what we're
vegetation?
doing?
Hey, maybe.
Honestly, it might help this party fucking chill.
Right.
Sorry, repeat that? I was Googling what panther meat tastes like.
Vias was gonna go look for some sort of vegetation or anything like edible greens.
That is edible by things that are not immune to poison.
Yeah.
Please make a survival check.
Alright, then watch me roll something really bad. I'm gonna laugh if I do. Oh, my survival isn't too horrible. Oh, I keep forgetting my keyboard doesn't work well. Oh, it's a 17. I don't know how to turn off advantage, so...
Yeah, you find a decent amount of like safe-looking herbs. Again, you're not really from the jungle, but you spot some animals like eating off of a few plants, particularly some berries, and you're like, huh, that probably means they're safe, and you grab them.
Heck yeah. Alright, he'll gather some of that up in like some of his spare cloth and head back. Feeling pretty good about himself.
Oh.
And you have a decent meal. Diona, the panther meat is actually like pretty solid. You realize pretty early on it cooks more like pork or rabbit than it does like
Okay.
beef. At least according to Quora.com.
Did you Google what does panther meat taste like?
Yes.
Yes.
I love it.
Oh my god.
But it simmers very easily in its own fat, and it with sort of the vegetation that's nice.
Yeah. And I think, well, first of all, Diana's kind of gonna make sure to put some in a bowl for Talia, and because I assume they haven't come back down.
They come down at the smell of food and eat.
Okay. Okay, so
They actually look like their hands look very smudged in ink.
yeah, that's not surprising.
And writing in their book again.
I think Donna, as she hands over the bowl of food, might just. Are you doing okay?
They nod.
Okay, we're gonna be out of here soon.
They nod again. Benali is very much perched on their shoulders.
Yeah. Which I think Donna might sort of look at Vinali and you take care of them.
Oh, what if I forgot to ask Parker? Whatever happened to our Onyx dog?
Oh, it's a statue
I think it
now.
got
Okay. I was
I
wondering
think it
about...
got dismissed and is currently being held onto by someone.
Okay, I think Vias would have held on to Morgan at this point. I was just curious because I was like, wait, did we leave Morgan back at
No,
the Deer Palace of Eppley?
we probably would have gotten a little bit of the ways out of Eppley, like after dealing with Cheval before he popped back.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because that's an 8-hour
Damon?
transformation thing.
Yeah. So so Max is still asleep, right?
Mhm.
Did we do
Okay.
any checks over him to make sure he's doing okay? I don't remember if we did.
Nope.
We should probably do that. Bias will inspect if that's
Make a medicine check.
Alright, let's do a
Can we
check.
say Vera is helping
Yeah.
Thank you, Vera.
so he can have advantage?
That's an 11. That was shit.
He's asleep. There's no visible wounding. But you cannot tell if or when he will wake up.
That's alright. I mean, let the poor thing sleep. He's probably had the traumatic experience being in these woods. Are these even woods? Jungle would be more appropriate?
Jungle would be more appropriate, apparently.
Hmm.
And I think as things sort of settle, Dana looks at the king and just. I realized we don't have your name or how any of this happened. From
He
your
has sort
side.
of sat himself like on a rock and is kind of like elbows on his knees. I think he's kind of helped you like pull leaves apart for, you know what I mean? Like he's
Yeah.
and he just kind of looks up. Shuxall. Shuxall.
So
What do you want to know? I don't remember what his voice sounds like. Fuck.
Mood. He's also an actor, like the one at the inn. He's practicing his voices.
He's lived so long alone that he just has many voices.
well, what's your side of the whole story? We heard at least some degree of, and I know we did get the goddess's name. I just don't remember it.
Mm.
Or at least whatever the fuck it was, whatever I said it was. My
Yeah.
She has multiple names. Fuck you.
Yeah, whatever name it was we got, that's the name Diona gives.
Fuck you. Fuck you. She has multiple names.
That's fine. Also, I'll be right back. I need to go to the bathroom.
Uh,
Recording is still going, so continue.
excellent. You just uh, uh, there's not really honestly much to tell. I When I was born, there was still a few families left. By the time I was grown, it was my mother, I, my wife, and then they died. And the next morning, I woke up and it was beautiful. And my wife came to find me. It took me a couple of, I don't know how long it took. I was suspicious, of course. I think she might have thought that I was old enough, too old to know, or that eventually I would start to lose memory and fall into it more securely, and I let her believe that she thought she was doing.
Did you know she was killing people to maintain it?
Wasn't until you showed up.
And when you realized that's what made you call a stop to it?
Alright, I am back.
I would like to believe that
Alright,
about
I am
myself,
back.
but it took me a couple of days. I watched those young people die. She meant well. She meant well when she loved us. You can actually see there are tears in his eyes.
Yeah.
My
Yes, I
father,
understand.
my father raised me that we would return Eppley to its grandeur. I was old by the time. It wasn't until then that I truly lost hope. And he's kind of sort of staring at the fire.
But they're all descendants of Eppley in Cuthbert. They all. I can't promise how kindly they'll receive you.
We always
But at
hoped
least
some people had made it out. They would leave My father told me there was a time they left by day, so some of them had to.
Sorry, can you repeat that part? You broke up.
He basically said, my father said there was a time where people fled the city daily, so some of them must have made it.
Yeah. Do you regret it? What happened and what she was doing to keep? Frankly, I don't think we're in a room. We can make our own judgments, but we're not the ones you might be accountable to.
He sort of sighs. I haven't worked that part out yet. Forgive me, I usually have quite a lot of time to think about things.
It's understandable.
I've never been outside the walls before.
There's a whole world out here.
Is it all this hot?
No, we're actually in the middle of winter outside of this jungle.
As you say that, you notice you kind of look up now, and at the very tops of the canopies, there's sort of like a sprinkling of what looks like might be snow starting to form on the topmost leaves. And you realize that the jungle is not as hot as it was originally.
Because it's not being maintained by Cheval anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I
But
think
it's
she's
it
kind of
there's
gonna.
still a lot of heat trapped there, and it's gonna take a while
Yeah.
to fully change. But
But it's not actively being maintained by Cheval anymore, so it is gonna die.
Good.
And I think she's sort of gonna gesture up to let him see the snow falling.
Hmm.
And I think the world is starting to right itself now that Cheval is gone. Wherever it was she went, I think she's taken this with her. All that's left is the dregs.
the jungle was our safety once. Part of what made Cheval so. My ancestors were foolish.
What was that?
The jungle was part of our protection once. It was part of what made Cheval so. And then my ancestors were foolish.
They were. And we've done what we can to right that wrong, but Tal'Dorei is reasserting itself. And I hope wherever Cheval went after this, she is able to have more peace.
So do I. It's been quite a long walk, and I am not used to this sort of thing.
Yeah,
Do you mind if I sleep?
go for it.
He smiles at you. And he sort of like reaches out with one hand to sort of pat you on the arm, and then he sort of gets up and finds a nice sort of cleared-ish area like around the fire, and like
Yeah.
does very much like that reptile thing in Source of Heat. And he is snoring within a matter of minutes.
Oh, bless the old man.
And yeah, I think on that, Diana's kind of gonna give everyone else a bit of a nod, and whichever tree Talia went up, Diana's gonna.
Make me an athletics or an acrobatics check.
Fall on your ass, Diona.
I know she won't be able to get up as high, but
Try for it. Watch you get a natural 20 on this. Oh, not quite.
Yeah, it takes you a
that's
little bit.
14.
You're still not quite good at the whole tree thing.
Yeah.
It is similar to rigging, but not quite similar enough that it would be.
Yeah, it's got a little bit more flex and a different kind of steadiness.
Yeah. So, but you get kind of you get a decent way up, and you see Talia is maybe like two set like rungs of branches up,
Yeah.
back to sort of the trunk and the tome sort of in their lap and open.
Yeah. I think Diana just does a bit of a short, sort of 4 notes in an ascending order.
They
Just
respond like they mimic perfectly without sort of looking up.
Yeah. And yeah, I think she's just gonna wrap a blanket around herself and try and get comfortable. Just
Is anybody gonna keep watch, or do you not
Vice will.
give a shit?
So while I was gonna climb a tree and maybe keep watch, yeah, she'll
Vi-
take first watch.
That sounds good. Vias can lend you mercy too if you'd like. So you can have advantage.
I
Talia,
think Diana is so incredibly done at this point. Vera might take a watch though.
yeah, Talia will also like willingly take a watch.
Yeah.
So Vias first.
Okay. I guess he'll do it with mercy too, so. That is perception, right?
Yes. If Mercy's helping at advantage.
So that would be 22 then.
Okay. The jungle is quiet, and again, it's not quite like, maybe it's just like your brain saying it's gonna get colder, that it's like starting to creep in, but like you end up sort of next to the fire. But the jungle is quiet, save for the normal sounds of jungle life. And your watch passes quietly.
Good, alright. Bias will wake up whoever's next on shift. Maybe
That would be Zoella, I think.
Mhm.
Vera, maybe?
20.
Like with Vias, it's quiet.
Also, at the beginning of whoever shift is next, she's going to spend an hour and cast Find Familiar.
More
Another
familiars.
animal.
Yes! This party is fucking ridiculous.
I presume it's Talia probably goes next.
Yeah.
I love this.
So, how many animals is that going to put us at?
We have 3 with.
A horse, a donkey, 2 birds, a cat, a dog, and another familiar.
My familiar is also gonna be a bird. It's an owl.
I love it.
Of course it
So
fucking
we
is.
have 7 animals and 8 party members.
Oh my god.
Hell yeah.
That's amazing. Just need one more.
You cast Find Familiar, and I cannot believe this shit.
We love you.
And at the end of the hour, you have a nice owl.
And then she'll cuddle up in the tree with the owl and go to bed.
Oh.
Is it a celestial, a fae, or a fiend?
Let me roll to find out.
Oh god.
Celestial fiend, I guess.
Apparently we have a demon owl.
Cool. I'm glad I'm not DMing for a while after this.
Oh my god, it makes so much. Zoella's the bad guy. No.
I'm the bag. Alright.
Oh god. Like, get out of here.
I am playing Talia. I have to roll the perception check.
Yes, you do.
Talia is my character.
Oops.
I am partially playing Mario Kart.
That's fair.
That's fine. Talia wakes up Vera after the end of another quiet shift. Someone roll for Vera.
I don't have her.
I've got access to a sheet. Give me a second.
I also have it. I can roll perception.
Okay.
There you go. 17.
Yeah, it again. Nothing happens. It's almost like I don't have combat prepared for you.
Yeah, but also considering the experiences we've been having, I think overcaution is.
Yeah.
We're just the type of people who are like
Surprise! Cheval's back. She's gonna bite you. No.
Cheval's here. She's come for revenge.
She realized that she wasn't sure if we meant it that we were going to let her kill the king, so she's just gonna.
She
She's gonna be
changed her
sneaky about
mind.
it to be on the safe side.
The morning comes safely.
Yeah. Does Max seem to stir in the morning?
Roll me a D100.
Come on, Maxie boy. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. Or eggs and panther?
Ren, call me up. Never mind.
Call you. I don't have your number, Parker.
Go fuck yourself. He acts like you wake up and you notice he sort of turned over in his sleep. He's not quite stirring, but he's not as comatose. Like,
Yeah.
maybe if you shook him you could wake him up, or maybe like he's kind of muttering to himself a little bit.
I think Diana's kind of gonna step back for this one and let someone who looks slightly more human.
Bias will do this.
Because giant pot ocean lady may not be the best thing to wake up to.
Cute puppy dog-eyed boy will go wake other person. Poor Max.
Okay. You like put a hand on his shoulder and like, how do you wake him up?
I think he'd he'd do that gentle like shake thing. Like I think he would have had like let Max sleep with a blanket and whatever, so he'd be comfortable. And just like gently shake his shoulder.
You shake his shoulder and he kind of like, that thing happens, like when someone's waking up and they take that very harsh inhale.
Mhm.
And
Easy.
and he like grabs the blanket and like tries to roll over it more.
Oh no, you don't, Sleeping Beauty. Wake up. Come on now. You have someone that's very worried for you. And we went through this entire journey just to find you.
um
There is breakfast if you want it.
he finally sort of like cracks his eyes open, and he looks over at you, and he goes from like grumpy asleep to like wide-eyed, and he like shoots up and like looks around in confusion. Um,
What, did you think you were staying in an inn?
what?
Use your words.
Uh, I think he just he defaults to Elvish.
Oh, this is a language I understand. Good.
He like, wait, who are you? What? Who? What?
Well, your
Where?
saviors. Apparently you tried to go find Eppley, and I don't think it worked.
What? Fuck. And he like his hands go to his eyes, and he like rubs at them, and like looks up, and then is like, there was a dragon.
Oh yes, there was a dragon, except she's not an issue right now. She let you go.
Uh, uh, uh.
Don't worry, you're safe with us. We'll heal you if you get injured. We're gonna take you back.
He just confused, I think is the best word. He's
Vi-
going
Vias will
like,
kind of like kneel in his space a little bit and just say, "Okay, what happened with you? What do you remember?"
I God, fuck. I'm not sure. I
All right.
um I made it. I remember that I made it, but it was like, but it looked like there were still people, and that couldn't have been right.
No,
And then
it's
everything got so fuzzy, and and
it,
then the, and then there was a dragon, and I I think she fed me. I What day is it?
it is.
We aren't entirely sure.
Susanna would pipe up with the exact fucking date and time, and you know this.
Yeah, I have no idea what the date is out of character because I haven't been able to keep up with it. So,
Yeah.
uh,
I assume if Susanna does.
it's definitely later than the 20th though.
His eyes kind of go wide, and it's like, it's been months.
Yes, it has.
I,
Your mother was worried, you know.
it's at this point you realize that he is actually a lot more well fed and a lot cleaner and not dehydrated than you would have thought.
Siobhan must
Uh,
have been taking care of you.
Can you tell us what happened, or at least what you remember?
um, I just told him, and he switches to common. Like,
Uh,
Sorry.
I forget sometimes people can't speak, and Vias will kind of repeat what he said in common
Hmm.
in a shorter version, of course, but
Do you? Hmm. Do you remember hearing anything?
He shakes his head. There were people, but then they weren't people, and then there was nothing, and
Unfortunately, the Queen of Epoli placed an illusion on that place. There was no people in Epoli aside the king and her.
I think the king kind of waves awkwardly from the other side of camp, where he's like struggling to get up, because he's old, and you let him sleep on the jungle floor.
I mean, honestly, if it was up to Vias, he would have given the king his staff to use until they left the.
Okay, with that, like that, he gets up. He can actually, get up.
Give the poor old man some ability to have his own movement.
I've been picturing this poor old man struggling on the floor for the past 5 minutes. I hope you know.
Like a turtle on their back. Oh,
We are not that bad.
that's awful.
We are dumbasses, but we are not that bad.
And then Max, you say it was an illusion, and Max goes, "Yeah, I think I remember, I remember figuring that out, and then, but then it was, I still wanted to be there, and it got confusing because they were there, but it wasn't, and I wanted, and then I just got so
The former queen of Eppley, and I think they're on a kind of if there's an angle she can get at that can sort of be looking into the grove, so she can point out the statue.
Mhm.
She was drawing people in, trying to keep Eppley going.
He nods, and he's just I didn't. I don't know. I got so confused, and nothing made sense, and I don't remember. It's all. And he tried to he shakes his head.
Was your memory altered or something?
I don't know. I don't think so. I just He shrugs.
I mean, it's a traumatic experience. I don't fault you for not remembering things. Sometimes I don't either. If things are bad enough.
And what
think-
matters is that you can now go home.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that might
deserve
be
some
good.
rest. Especially after this ordeal. I'm sure your mother will be happy to know that you survived.
Mhm. And then he's just like, Mom, is she okay?
Oh yes, we talked with her. She's doing all right. She's just very worried for you.
Okay. Can I have some food, please?
Yeah, I think Diana serves up some.
Let's get the panther bacon.
Let's Kyo and Max at this point look confused and concerned. And I think at some point you notice because I'm sure Susanna's up to some shit.
Oh.
Back on her
As
bullshit.
as is kind of Talia.
Yeah.
And there's probably something just from Kyo and Lensa, which is just like, yeah, we're here too, buddy. Like we also don't get it.
I don't have enough supplies on my own at the moment to feed our entire group, so we sort of made do with what we could find, which happened to be some kind of a jungle cat last night.
And jungle
There
cat
should
happens
still
to
be
be
enough
very
of the meat
tasty.
left that I can
he shrugs. I mean, I don't know, that dragon fed me for months, so can't be any worse. Right?
Um,
Right?
We'll get you some
Probably
proper
not.
food at some point.
Okay.
um,
Man, I wish
I
those
think
weird
what Diana
things-
does for the breakfast is sort of fried flatbread and what of the meat is still usable. Um,
I'm sure there's
I
plenty
don't
of
think
meat.
she has, and if we can manage to get any like edible greens from.
Oh, how did the skinning go, by the way, for the the jaguar?
Oh, Kyo did it, and she's good at it.
Oh, good.
Because I said so.
I just wasn't sure how she did, so
Yeah. Um,
they did. Whoever. Kyo be who Kyo wants to be.
and yeah, that's
Yep, we will offer food to Max. Make sure he eats and drinks.
He
Diana,
fucking inhales food.
Oh,
Yeah.
this poor man. At least he's been
Diana
fed, though.
makes sure to make enough food that Kyo and Linsa, if they want some, can have.
They are willing to partake, if still a bit confused.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I
Vias
think
with
there's
his
a
mouth.
bit where Diana kind of seems to look in her cooking supplies and go, I'm gonna need to restock on everything.
Vias with his mouth full just mutters, "I can't eat pork, but this tastes way better."
Zoella is just eating some of the jaguar or panther meat, and if the skull was left, she is just holding the skull in one hand and opening and closing it, like it's talking.
I love it.
I think that might be the moment that Lensa's like, yeah, we don't know either. Nice.
Vias is helping her by making different noises, like animal noises. They're probably not the best accuracy.
I think Diana
but-
kind of gives Lensa, Max, and Kyo a look, and there's just a bit of a shrug of, I don't know either, honestly.
Vias is enjoying this. First lighted-hearted day in a while.
I think Diana does kind of, particularly while she's doing cooking and cleanup, I think there is sort of humming some shanties. I don't know if she actually starts singing, but that's a very sort of rhythmical.
Wait, can Vias try and figure out if he knows any of those? His dad is a bard.
Would his dad know sea shanties?
He's been all over the place.
Roll a history check?
Yeah. Wait, oh come on, you. Oh, nope, that's not what I wanted to do.
That's
He stabs her instead. Fuck. History. Nope, that was bad. I wasted my rolls on a fucking dagger. God damn
You
it.
don't know shit.
That's fair. If his father sang any sea shanties, he did not listen. Vias decides not to listen and stabs Diona instead. Fuck.
I know that's not canon, but there is a part of me that can just see. If you objected that much, you could have said something.
We solve this dispute like men.
Do
Oh,
y'all
so
go
the
back
stupid
to town, or are y'all gonna fuck around with some skulls?
We're gonna go to town.
Yeah, we're gonna head back to town.
Okay.
We're just roleplaying right
Enough of this skullduggery.
Hey, Jamie.
Hmm.
What the hell happened here?
That is rude.
What did I do? What happened?
Oh, I was kidding.
Leave my girlfriend alone. She's done nothing wrong in her life.
Oh, that's not true.
Fair.
Yeah, I was about to say, Ren. I understand wanting to love and support your girlfriend, but you have to admit when your girlfriend has done wrong.
I mean, that wasn't that wrong. She was just.
I know. It was. And I deliberately did disconnect because I knew that Jamie could fix it. Admin!
Oh, Jamie. I'm
Uh,
sorry they bullied you.
It's okay.
Yeah, we head back to town.
unlike the last part of the journey, this does not take longer than it did the first time. I mean, this does not. It's the same length. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Um. So you make it back to Kesburg towards the end of the day. Um, you can see the heat lamps in the distance as you get up to the fence that marks the boundary between town and the jungle. Um, and you can see now at the edges of the jungle, it like a lot of the brush has started to already like frost over.
Yeah.
Not quite dead yet, but like very cold burned and
Yeah.
shriveling. Um, and you get to snow, and Joxel sort of like looks like kind of apprehensively at it. Um, and I think actually Talia kind of like steps up next to him and just like, oh no, it's all right. It's just cold. See? And they put their hand into the snow, um, and then you watch the king sort of lean down a little bit, like holding onto the staff, like he's about to also like reach his hand and touch the snow. And then Talia just like flicks their wrist, and there's just snow that flies into his face and upper chest.
Oh.
And then they're up and over the gate and heading back towards town before anyone can say anything.
Oh my god. Chaotic. I love them.
And I think Juxel just starts laughing.
Yeah.
I think Vias would come up behind him and give him like a light pat on the back and just say, "Let's go get you a place to stay, and maybe a staff of your own. I, as much as I'd like to give you mine, it's kind of a family heirloom."
He nods, and you start off back to the path towards town. You see, like he sort of stiffens a little bit as he starts to move over snow for the first time, and then like you get to the first heating lamp, and you get the sense that he just wants to like wrap himself around it.
That's valid.
But he holds on until you get back to the inn.
Yeah.
You walk inside the inn, and the bartender looks up just as he's like starting to. He's not putting away things, but he's kind of setting for like the evening service rather than the day. Uh, and he just like, oh shit. You well, hello. Welcome back.
We made it back.
I see. Uh, I'll get you dinner. Hold on.
And I don't know about anyone else. I could use a drink.
I can
Yes,
do that.
I offered to pay as wait, hold on, let me see what I have for money because I don't know if I have enough to pay for people's drinks. Oh, I have 38 gold, it'll work.
I think Diana might just give a bit of a look and just. I'll cover it. I have.
Zoella just pulls out her flask of perpetual booze and starts drinking.
I love her.
Yeah, no, Diana wants something warm. Diana wants, like
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, I get you.
a heated cider.
Yeah.
Vias is fine with anything and everything.
He passes around like a round of warm cider.
Yes.
Uh,
Um, and food is given, as well as drink.
yeah.
Yay.
And I think
Ah.
Tully is just like, yes, warm cider, give.
Yes, warm, need.
I mean, Vias would offer his up if anybody.
You can get more cider. There's not like
True.
a limited
More.
amount of cider.
Well, he.
But I think Vias also doesn't drink.
No, Vias drinks a lot, actually.
It's Dylan that doesn't drink.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, fair enough.
Um, Talia definitely downs at least 3.
Vias shares some with Mercy, because apparently that's the only thing she enjoys is liquor.
um, and I think after some time of food and warming up and well, I suspect we wouldn't have to go find Max's mom because I have a suspicion that we'd get here and within
No.
like 15 minutes she'd show up.
No, that's a 2 week ride from fucking here to Kaiser.
Okay, sorry, I had gotten mixed up about where she was.
Yeah, she
No.
was back in Kaimel. We left without
That's
her.
me having missed a chunk.
That's fair.
That's fair. Max is also drinking heavily.
Oh, buddy.
Understandable. There
Uh,
is real food. There is.
he is drinking and he is eating, and then it's like you look away for 2 seconds and you look back and he's fucking plastered.
You know how? Okay, I didn't get a clear answer. I don't think. How old is Max? Is he
Oh,
like a
Max
young man?
is young 20s, like
Young
early.
20s? Okay.
So like 21, 23-ish.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that range.
Gotcha. I mean, Vice is probably gonna get about to the same point. He has not gotten properly drunk, I don't think, at all during this campaign, so.
Yeah, I think Diona might also just.
If
that
the
wasn't
two
some
of you, if the two of you are getting drunk, Talia does not understand what alcohol does and will keep up with the two of you.
Oh no! Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, Talia. I think Vice would try and have Diana teach him a sea shanty.
They get drunk faster than you do.
Oh, I want to roll a Constitution save for Vice. That's a 12. That's not too bad.
It takes you about the average time you think it would take you to get drunk.
Good. Ah, me and Diana are about the same time.
Yeah.
Zoella, how are you doing?
Why are we letting the bird child have alcohol?
She's the one with the flask
Because
of
we are not making good
perpetual
decisions
booze.
right now. Fair. We can't stop her, that's why.
Oh no, Zoella. Oh, babe.
It's a bit surprising that Zoella longer than Talia does, considering size. But it's not too much longer.
No.
I think as Diana starts getting tipsy, I think Talia finds himself sort of in Diana's lap and just being.
Oh yeah, no, Talia is here for it. They're already like loose-limbed.
Oh, bless.
Yeah. So I think Talia just finds himself in Diana's lap and like basically being used as a teddy. Just
Vice is
Mhm.
going to attempt to try and get either Dylan or Max or both of them or anybody who wants to start dancing with him. Because why not? Maybe even Susanna if she'd want it, but I don't. I wish PK
I
was
don't
here.
think Susanna would.
Because
I
Vice
don't
is an
know if
idiot.
Dylan would.
Yeah.
And even if he does, at some point Max is very much like, my turn.
Yes. Let's go, Max.
also Diana, basically anyone else in the party who will let her, she is sort of pressed shoulder up against.
Vice is just a happy, not like slurry mess, but more like giggly mess.
I'm
Yeah.
sure Beer Mom is willing to be like, alright, I got you, Diana.
Oh, I love your mom.
Beer
Favorite.
Mom might also be slightly drunk.
Diana is going, okay, safe, contact good, time to just no.
We need this. Our sanity needs this.
Talia keeps like trying to do things and not understanding why they can't get their hand to work.
Oh no.
Um, and at some point they just kind of end up like, you know those cats who do catnip and just end up just a pile of
Yeah.
like,
Just comatose.
yes,
Yeah.
like just cat liquid? That's exactly what happens with Talia.
Oh, I feel that on an emotional and physical level.
Oh.
And you can sort their attention gets like caught by something and they'll stare at it for like a while. But they're not like, they're very much like, no, a pile in Diana's lap.
Yeah.
Tally goo.
I think Talia
I
might.
think-
I think Diana's like one of Diana's braids ends up like getting tugged on a little bit, like fingers running around off or down it.
Yeah. I think Diana also sees the dancing and then looks at Talia in her lap, and there's a bit of a. There's a bit of a. If she was more sober, it would be I did not think this through. But
I mean, Vias is waving anybody over. Like, I think he's probably even waving
yes,
at Zoella.
yes. But Diana has a lap full of Talia and doesn't want to
Yeah, that's fair.
disturb them.
Hello?
She is having the cat dilemma of I have a
Okay.
cat in my lap
I'll
and I
come up
want to do
soon.
stuff.
Yeah, Vias would even try to get Zoella in on this dancing too.
Zoella is cuddling her bird
Oh.
and just sitting there watching people be.
That's
I
fair.
think partway through, possibly acting a little bit more happy drunk than she is, like acting a little bit more. I think Diana sort of starts telling some of the stories from the Snapdragon. I think there is sort of.
I think Talia ends up like chirping, whistling back.
Yeah. Oh.
I think
I don't have anything
Shuxall doesn't drink,
specific.
but he is very amused by what's going on right now.
Good.
Yeah.
I think
Uh,
at some points, like, I don't know if there's any like musicians here, but like Vias is
no,
like
you're dancing to silence.
Vias is singing like not okay. If it's silence, I think Vias would be singing like he's not necessarily the most beautiful singer, but he's singing like Marquesian, like folk songs and stuff like that he's learned. And like
I think you finish one at some point, and then Max starts up because Max is an
Yeah.
actual bard.
yeah.
He is an actual lore bard.
Hell
Ah.
yeah.
And he has actually a very good voice.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Sort of like mid-range, but like
Okay, we're good. I had to roll to fall in love. He's not in love.
mid-range, but sort of strong and just like the very like folk song sort of voice rather than
Yeah.
um
You didn't tell me you could sing. That's amazing.
and he like sort of like one finger down your nose and like a little bit of a flick.
He like scrunches his nose up.
Don't give me that look, pretty boy.
I'll look
Guys,
what I want to.
At the top of the hour, I need to go because my grandmother is out for the day, and I need to do cooking tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah.
So
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go now then. Bye,
We
guys.
are having some fun times, and then we get to figure out how to.
Love you, Jamie.
I love you.
Oh my goodness.
Also, Parker, can I get a spelling on
yeah.
the king's name? Because again,
Yeah.
it has just in one ear and out the other. So.
Yeah, same. I think I was gone for some of the. Okay, yes, good. Bless.
6 so. Okay.
Don't give me that. Don't pout at me, pretty boy.
I'll look how I want to.
Mm.
We saved your ass, didn't we?
And oh god.
From a
Um,
dragon.
Yeah, you did, and he sort of like a roguish kind of smile. And I think he motions for another round for the two of you.
Yes.
Why do my NPCs keep having sexual tension with Vias?
It's all one grand scheme. It's the Moonweaver. She's made it so. The tryst must happen with Vias. No one is.
Yeah,
Vias must romance every male NPC you make.
Yes, anyone who of age.
Max is a little bit flirty, drunk bard flirty, but flirty.
I love it. I love him.
And I
He's
think
good.
there might come a point where Diona just kind of in that very direction. Oh, get a room.
He like Max gives you like a middle finger.
Diona's just grinning at him. Just.
Are you going to buy it, Diona? I really don't have the funds for that.
Max like dips his hand into like his bag and like you hear him cursing for a minute or two, and then pulls out like a handful of silver and just on the bar,
Oh no.
and the bartender's like, okay, hands over a key, and then as Max sort of stumbles away, you watch the bartender kind of like scoot out the proper actual payment and like put the rest sort of in safekeeping. And unless Vias like doesn't respond, Max will grab your hand and lead you upstairs.
Vias will just give a shrug and go after. And he's going to just, like, leave Mercy elsewhere, because she's not fucking going with. He'll leave Mercy with Susanna. Keep her company.
I think Dylan looks a little bit pouty.
I mean, Dylan went off with a fucking courtesan. He's no one to talk.
I mean, I'm not gonna make any character decisions. Sorry, Josh. But I get the sense that he might be a little bit silky.
Well, Bias is a little inebriated and it's fine. He's had enough heartbreak for now. He needs to lighten his mood a bit. Yes, finally. Ah,
What episode number is this?
this is episode 41.
At least of the recording. 'Cause we did have
Yes.
episodes before we decided to.
Yeah. I know that we started like this is session 41.
Mm-hmm.
Episode like 22nd, 23rd, I don't know. I'll have to look at the actual thing. But I mean there are ones that we missed like no. Oh my god. They hit it off. That's a good title name right there.
This one's been a mess, guys.
It's been a mess. I mean, there was only 4 of us.
This one's been a travesty.
Oh, but it's been so fun.
The Moonweavers, please.
In the daylight, we can deal with.
Mm-hmm.
This is a healthy relationship.
Right now, we are surviving. We survived.
Let's celebrate. Why not?
Yeah. We're
I do
alive.
think
Let's celebrate.
Jaxel would want to go to bed early because he is an old man and old people sleep early.
They deserve
Yeah, I
it.
think Diana will cover a room for him.
Vias gets a free room, suckers.
And the rest of you have to pile in the other one because
What was that?
everyone else has to pile in the other one because I established there are 3 rooms in this inn.
Oh, God.
Oh, I love it so much. Vias returns to fucking Kymel. Here you go. Here's your son, mostly intact.
All right, campaign canceled. I'm gonna go home. Session over. I don't know.
We don't need any payment for this. I had enough. Oh my god. Okay, I might have to go though because I need to eat food. So.
Yeah. We
Oh
might
my
as well.
god.
Who the fuck is knocking at the door? Alright.
FBI, open up.
Hold on.
FBI can go fuck themselves.
Right? Except for the one listening into my conversation. You're great. Don't listen.
Session 41, in which Vias fucks.
God.
I think you guys do get some stories before there's sort of spreading out of some of the shenanigans that Tavian has gotten up to.
New challenge. Can
Um,
I introduce a youngish male NPC that Bias will not fuck?
He did not fuck Charlie. He just wanted to.
He gave him suggestive eyes. We're working on it.
I was about to be like, we're like running towards like first base with Charlie. I don't know what you mean.
I know, I
I'm-
know, but he did not get there yet.
It's because of bad timing. That's the only reason. Bias is just a pretty man. Other men that are
Bias
attractive
is
are
high
attractive.
charisma. It does sort of make sense that he.
Yeah, and also Max's as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Diona did not help. I mean, it was already kind of heading there, but Diona.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Vias is not in love with Max. That's fine. He just thinks he's a beautiful man, and he's very charming, so why not?
Yeah, Max is also like, I survived one night stand time.
Yes.
You're both on the same page.
Oh, thank God.
Listen, I'm pretty sure if Diona had actually thought about the. I'm not gonna want to move Talia. That she actually might not have decided to pull Talia into her lap because she might have decided that. But then it's the cat problem. It's the. I have. There is cat in my lap. I'm not just gonna move.
Right.
Damn.
Alright, so is that all we wanted to say in recording, or should I end it here?
In the morning, the mayor of Kessburg officials are like, yeah, we can handle this, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was gonna be a bit of a heartwarming reunion between Grandpa, who was like a kid when he left. But I guess we're skipping over that shit because I'm done. We're not bringing this back, fam.
We end it strong with the Bias Max problem.
And you head out of Kessburg, going back to Kymel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Diana
End
resupplies as much as possible.
Done.
In the morning.
Easily.
Too.
Give me 3 gold and done.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Alright. So we all Gucci?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Alright. And recording.